Hello, everybody. It's me, Countess, and I hope you all are doing well out there in the world. As always, I hope this video finds you well. Just wanted to give a brief introduction to this video. About a year ago, I did an in-depth analysis on the poem of The Standing Stone. I'll leave a link in the description box below for anybody who's interested and wants to check that out, where I kind of go into like the symbolism that Billy uses in this poem, all to disclose basically again his alchemic marriage to Paul, and his transformation out of fire, to become this new individual, and just something, I just thought it would be interesting to read out the poem in its entirety for any of you who want to hear it. Again, there's a lot of imagery in this poem. There is a lot of information of disclosure in this poem if you have the eyes and ears to hear. He flat out tells us about him and Paul coming together, although in the poem he interplays with gender and all of that. Paul is the feminine, he is the masculine, the yin and the yang, right? So just something to keep in mind as we go through this poem. Just thought it would be kind of fun to read it out, like I've read out the talent contest songs / poems from the memoirs. This poem has a lot of the same sort of structures as some of those poems back in that book, so I find that very interesting too. But yeah, so just sit back, relax, and I hope you all enjoy my reading out of Paul McCartney's Standing Stone poem. Take care, guys. Bye. Paul McCartney's Standing Stone poem. Movement 1 after heavy light years. Fire, rain, cell growth, and human themes. After heavy light years of tenacious trajectory, a ball of fire spat through space, spitting sparks and flames at new blue universe. The rains came and extinguished livid flames. A resistant hiss, brooding underground, a sullen, skulking sulk. Still air hung still, silent peaks draped with mist, a rumbling distance flash lit, rain-soaked slopes, valleys filled with long quiet lakes, still air hung still. Soothed land lay damp, reflecting water skimmed the blue it was hurled through. Down low toes of ocean rock, streams of lava frozen shock, arms locked round stone lever. Wet sky swept and gray, a rainbow bridge cuts mountain tops. Souped in pea green, a single cell bulb flickered to life. Cell burst, a shot blot page on time, and grew to be all living things. Movement 2. He awoke startled. Meditation, crystal ship, sea voyage, lost at sea, release. In sparkling imperfection, tingling delights of air's fresh rush collide with gray-clad solitude on desolate hazy morning shore, the first-person singular wanted he didn't know what. Clapping flash of lightning illuminates far flat lines, velvet wind on dark horizon, sea of glass. Then there was a melody, made like a memory, a sprinkling of bells. He sought the source. Salt sea breezes quickened, a shift of silver lifted mist.
A crystal ship slipped and shone in sunlight. Seduced he swam to stand on deck. Wind spoke and sucked the boat to sea. Soon land was left a world behind as crystal bow fell into swells. Narctic memory, untroubled trows. A withered wind's whisper scratched the deck. Shivering elegance slivered in splinters. Dissolved in dark as sun spat out, breathless lament in dissident air. Chasms cough up chasms, spun in wheels of black fog, hope so hard to float it sank. Until a crack of blinding light broke through and hauled the boat along a slinging slipway towards a dear blue sky. And as before, clear music led the way. White birds silent over crystal bow. The vessel sped through beads of spray that slapped his happy face and filled his soul with glory song. His nostrils snorted blasts of ocean air. In thanks for my survival, I'll put up a monument of stone where I put in. Movement 3. Subtle colors merged soft contours. Safe haven, standing stone. Peaceful moment, messenger, lament, trance, eclipse. Subtle colors merged soft contours, stretched and welcome as the ship drew near. His first bare step on mustard sand was wiped by whim of wave. Flickering bird song, a bank of grassy moorland rose to distant ridge. Ancient olive, bright young lime, and further purple mountain peaks breathed echoes of the melody. He stalked through swelling heather to the ridge's tip to sip the fresh world's news. Flanked by juniper and birch, a long flung track strung out below, and wound to smoky settlement nested in blue foothills. Two natives drove a flock of umber sheep along this burnt sienna road. A beautiful woman from whose throat the haunting song had come. A bearded man with snowish hair, her father, who had witnessed his arrival in ship of glass that disappeared as fast as it had come. These companions walked with his joy towards the settlement and spoke of how they'd long expected him. Still as stones that lined their path, this shepherdess daughter listened to his story. Her father sang of local life and introduced each character and scene: farmer, warrior, milkmaid, thief, shaman, housewife, woodsman, fool. They made him welcome and, before he slept, agreed to help him hoist his stone. On sun-smacked days they traced his steps to plant a giant slab of sea-beat rock. Rope and muscle, sweat and tackle, raised a weathered finger to the sky. Soon this sacred stone bedded in its depths the aspirations of their anxious souls, a place of peace where he and she would meet. But as their hearts rehearsed and played a set of newfound harmonies and chords, Black Horse Rider rode throughout the night with news that set the settlement alight. Off ragged northern coast, a rugged gang of bandits gathered. Dark longships flashed with metal, thud of boot, belt, hull, and oar. A storm of fighters swarmed ashore. Panic scampered through the people's veins, poisoned rats in a pot of grain. The visitor fell still to seek an answer. The shepherdess, his love, took him to the standing stone and poured an ancient potion. A backward somersault of senses, cool breezes, fruit blossom fragrance, rippled air, chiming towers, ran slow hours, fluttering calm, and drifted. Long spiraled colors, twisted, sinuous dance of snake and vine. She left him to his slab of stone. He watched its towered rush, scratch at the moon. Fanned flames flicked up tongues. Lichen crawled with lunar-clad reflections as rampant hordes rode tidal waves of blood-red water down center-figural highway. He was tossed and smackly landed on the sudden floor. He looked up and saw a spirit force stretch easy into space, so powerful he trembled and believed. Head bowed, he slipped in trance, wet sheets. Slow whirlwind, silent thunderstorm, and breezeless hurricane, he cried out, a wall of peeled back veils, a face unlike another, visions, visage, gentle, genteel, masculine mouth, female eyes, a face to steal. The mouth spoke slower than words. You were sent to help the people here. Their invaders' greatest fear is that the sky will fall. Say you'll make this happen, and in 2 days' time the moon will be eclipsed. Awake, he found himself a crumpled scrap beneath the upright stack of stone. Black clouds rolled the moon. As milkmaid warriors made futile preparations to defend against attack, their newcomer was welcomed back with skeptical acclaim. He told to those who would be told, then rode into the enemy domain. Deriding scowls lined his arrival. Wolf-eyed soldier drunk, with stagnant breath, pressed to hear his threat to make the sky collapse unless their troops retreat. The leader's belly heaved. He laughed and spat. Before I skewer and feed you to these apes, go tell your tribe within 3 days they'll be my slaves. Thunder tore apart a sheet of sky. Hard laughter swallowed dust as heroes sped to anxious settlement. The villagers made crude defenses, huddled in a circle around the stone. Lambs listed for the dog pack howl. Long blown hours scattered charcoal gray above the ragbag army's quickened pulse. A sudden moon illuminates. They crouch with bucket, beam, and bench in fortress ring until night sang. Jang of juggernauts approach. I will make the sky collapse, first person sprang and roared, unless you take your army back. Some stumbled, stopped, and most slunk on, shamed by their leader's mocking curse. The sky grew black magnetic, black air cracked electric. A drape was dragged across the moon. In howling darkness some trampled, tripped, but all ran, chased by children, to the laughing sea. Movement 4. Strings pluck, horns blow, drums beat. Glory tales, fugal celebration, rustic dance, love duet, celebration. Strings pluck, horns blow, drums beat, full lungs song, sing enemies defeat. Sheep set loose, blacksmith's bench returned to use, and milkmaid's buckets spilled with glory tales. Planted seeds found time to thrive, and farmers rose to reap their ripened wheat. The warrior, at peace with peace, like thief, resolved to turn a leaf, and lovers made lovers' plans, pebble games, daisy chains, and sub-chin butter tests. Kids peel sticks of birch to feel slick, moistured fingertips. Blue sky laced with tight white webs, fields of high rye tickled skylarks, levitating stars. On contented drone of bee, musicians improvise a melody, fueled by feast-fermented fruit. Sun-cooked air blew through flutes, and round bright maple strings. A jig and plaited time thrilled quickened hearts. Birds and butterflies flit from wayside bush and ditch. The track from town to stone soon jammed with revelers, inching chattily towards their sacred site, where he and she vowed their proud love. No kingdom could have crowned him with more joy than her. An impossibly distant blackbird circled overhead and wondered why so many bite-sized creatures spent their lifetime running on the spot.
But though they may be parted, there is still a chance, Bill, that they will see.